All right, so we're going to take you through 5 of the most common functions or valve functions for operating an actuator today in the industry. So what we've got here is a 5-station MAC valve 92 series assembly. Then we've got a Noriga, about a 4-foot rodless actuator. So no rods coming out either end. And then we've got 2 flow controls from Legree. These are metered out, so when in doubt, meter out.
We've got a single solenoid 2-position, double solenoid 2-position, 3-position closed center, 3-position open center, and 3-position pressure center. So we were first hooked up to our single solenoid here. We're just going to operate it here. Doug's going to talk through some of the functionality and
yeah, so right now you can see it's going to, as he energizes it, goes to one side, de-energizes it, go to the other, so it's either all the way one side or another. Even if he lets up halfway through, if he lets up, it's going to return. So there is no mid-position with a single solenoid valve 2-position. Okay, so another key point is if he wants it to go all the way to the other side, he's got to maintain that signal. So in this case, we're doing manual override. So typically you're going to get an electrical signals for each of these solenoids, but we're using the manual overrides in this case so you can see us energizing.
So now we've got our 2-position double solenoid. So I'm going to go ahead and click through some of the operation here while we talk about what we've got.
So right away you'll notice that all Andy had to do was just give it a momentary signal, which is going to shift that valve into that other position. So it's only 2 positions. And the other thing that you'll notice is if we have a shutdown situation, if we gave it a command on one side, we know that when we re-energize the system, we know that it's going to be going in that one direction.
Now we're at the 3-position closed center.
Once again, you'll notice this is a momentary signals, right? So he's going to hold that down. Now, here what you'll notice is when he releases, though, if it's mid-stroke and he releases, it's going to stop wherever he released it at. And then what's also key is because it's closed center, we're trapping that air inside that cylinder. So you can move it a little bit, but it's still pretty hard because that air is trapped inside there. So this is good for positioning. From a safety standpoint, if you need that component to be able to move in a shutdown scenario, then that's where you're going to want an open-centered valve or a pressure-centered, which we'll get to next.
We're back here with the open center valve. So I'm going to give it a momentary hit here. Actually, held it energized.
So a couple things, you'll notice how it kind of it sped up at the beginning. You'll notice again it shoots off ahead. That's because we don't have any residual pressure on the backside of the cylinder to give us that more control, right? Since you've got an open center, that means it's anytime you release that signal, you're exhausting all the air in the system. And so typically when we're metering out of the cylinder, we're going to have that pressure built up on the backside. The residual pressure that we're kind of forcing it through. In this case, we're releasing everything, so there's nothing in the cylinder to keep it from just flying off. If you've got a horizontal application and when you stop it, then what's going to be really nice is you can easily move this around. So we talked about before CNC type application where you've got a CNC door that, hey, if you stop it and relieve the pressure, you want your operator to easily get in there and to move the door or other component. So.
All right, last valve here. We've got the 3-position pressure center. We actually started off here in the middle from where our open center was. Didn't jump, didn't do anything here, but we're going to go ahead and the flow controls worked right away on this, even though we were mid-stroke, which is kind of nice there. So do have to give it full energization for the entire movement of stroke, but you do have intermittent ability to stop it, even 2-3 times as much as you want. You want to go ahead and
so here once again we got pressure, so I can barely move, only because I'm really strong. But we do have pressure applied to each side of the cylinder there.
The only thing that's a little unique about this is actually if we do remove the pressure on the system, it will allow us to free float. So it kind of acts as a closed center, it kind of acts as an open center here. Well, we just showed that, but here you go. That's a quick rundown of the 5 different functions that we can that you have for most valves. If you have any questions from a pneumatic perspective around the functionality of these valves or any other pneumatic applications, reach out to your Neff representative, contact your local Neff office, or go to neffautomation.com. We'd be happy to help you with your next application.